Welcome to Start 100K, where I'm helping people get to their first $100,000 of net worth. Today, I'm going to talk about something a little different. I'm going to talk about debt is definite, gains are a guess. Before we get started, just know that this information is for educational and informational purposes only, so please consult your tax, legal, or investment advisor before making any decision. And please share, comment, subscribe. Please tell people about what we're doing here at Start 100K. And if this is at all helpful, please shoot me a note. I love to hear from people. I love to answer questions. So please let me know. Just hit me up. So anyway, like I said, today I want to talk about something that I've been thinking a lot about, but I haven't fully formed my content or ideas around this. It's something that I'm really excited about exploring, but I haven't quite fully explored everything yet. And I actually talked to my friend Zach Spainhour. If you haven't checked him out, definitely hit him up on LinkedIn. He does have a YouTube channel. It's Zachary, Zachary, Spainhour, and that's just like literally the country Spain and hour, like hours of the day. So yeah, definitely check out his YouTube channel. He's got a video on there that's pretty good as far as talking about new grads and things like that. So definitely go check him out. Give him a subscribe. Give him a like. Definitely a great friend of mine. He does Lego videos that are totally awesome. My son's X-Wing is actually featured in one of his videos, so definitely check it out. But anyway, so him and I are going to work on some content around that, and going to talk a little bit about this. Debt is definite, and gains are essentially a guess. And here's what that kind of means to me. So debt, it's a contractual agreement that you are going to borrow some money and you are obligated to pay interest in return for the use of that money. That is a set rate, usually an APR, annual percentage rate, whatever the case may be, and almost all debt, so that you have a level payment, is amortized. I hope I'm saying that right. Amortized over the course of the loan, so that you have a level payment. So in essence, what you're doing is you're paying more interest up front, less principal. And so toward the end of the loan, you're paying more principal, less interest. So that way you have a level payment all the way across. So that contractual agreement stays the same all the time. So you're paying the same rate no matter what. Now, when you employ that money in the market, and a lot of people do this and they say, well, I'm going to carry a mortgage, or I'm going to carry a car note at a lower percentage, or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to invest the rest. And I'll make a higher return on that money that I have put into the stock market. Okay, well, one, I would argue that most people that say that don't actually put that money into investments. They probably just spend it. Now, that may not be the case. Maybe you're the one that doesn't do that, but most people, from my experience, don't actually do that. It sounds nice, but in essence, all they're doing is just giving themselves an excuse to spend more money and leverage more and more. So maybe you're the oddball, but for the most part, people don't actually invest the difference. So let's say that you do invest the difference. Okay, the market does fluctuate. And in some years it's going to be positive, some years it's going to be negative. Now, if you have more money in the market, which you have done by using leverage in theory, so let's say if your mortgage is $1,500 a month and your rent would have been $2,000 or whatever. So, now instead of, having that $500 that you're given to somebody else, you can put that in the market. All right, so let's say you do that. Now, if you get a positive rate of return, then that's good. All right, cool. You have more money on the table that's getting a positive return. Now, that's not always going to be the case. The market fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down. And so on the years that it's negative, you have more money that is moving in a negative direction. So in essence, I don't know that you're actually really ahead. And regardless, you still have to pay the interest on that money that you've borrowed. So I don't know that you're really better off. And to me, this is a little different conversation than just debt is bad. I'm not going to always say that debt is bad. I'm a little debt adverse. Part of that comes from I didn't know anything about money until I met Dave Ramsey through his book and all that, but I definitely was not debt averse before then. I mean, I borrowed all the money that I could get. I financed everything. And changing how I lived and thought about finances in that regard definitely has made a positive influence on our lives. So I can't really say that debt is good. It doesn't feel good to be in debt. But I do see some places where debt can be used in a good way. But I still would say that debt is not something I'm super fond of. It just, I don't know, it just feels icky. It feels better to just say, I own it, and really mean it. A lot of people say, oh, well, my car, my truck, whatever, but they don't really own it. The bank does, and they kind of let them use it in return for interest payments. So this is something I want to talk a little bit more about in the future, and I haven't fully formulated something for everybody, but I really wanted to talk about this, get this out there, and see what your thoughts were, honestly. If you have any thoughts on this, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe you've got a great example of how leverage really helped you out, but I think long term, and I'm talking, when I say long term, I'm saying 5, 10, 15, 20 years, because honestly, we're in unconventional times right now, and even when it looked like things were going south, the government pumped a ton of stimulus money into the economy, lowered interest rates, and has really propped up the economy so that the impact from the pandemic, all that kind of stuff, have really been pretty minimal. So I'm really surprised, and I'm really interested to see kind of how this shakes out long term. But regardless, this is something that I'm looking at, I'm working on, I'm researching, and hopefully Zach and I will be able to come back with a pretty cool conversation and some neat data so that we can kind of talk about this a little more intelligently. So stay tuned, and until then, go get started.